And welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammit, here back with a huge episode as we rapidly approach All-Star Weekend in San Francisco. It's if you tuned into last week's show, you'll know that I was a little bit I don't know, flabbergasted, is that the word I'm going for? Maybe. Um, as to what had gone down over the NBA trade deadline period. Now, the NBA has undertaken a seismic shift in power, in balance, in its future. It really was a startling week, to say the least, namely the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade involving the Lakers and Mavericks, as well as a whole host of other trades that went down. It has caused, as I said, essentially the whole NBA landscape to completely flip on its head. Now, as an NBA fan, outside of doing this podcast and just as a general fan, I loved every moment of it. As someone who kind of creates content off the back of the NBA, it was almost too much. It was too much to handle, too much to process. I've taken another week to kind of digest things. Now that, the dust has settled somewhat, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to run through a couple of quick winners and losers from the NBA trade deadline period. I want to get into that momentarily. I'm certainly looking forward to getting into it, as I'm sure you guys are looking forward to getting a bit better insight as to what went down over that period. Before we get into it, though, I just want to give a big shout out to both Stadium Scene and The Cover, both those networks continuing to showcase my work here at the Daily Dribble, as well as a whole host of other content creators in and around Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Canada. Very, very appreciative for all their continued hard work and support. It ensures the continued success of the show, and I really do appreciate it. And likewise to all you guys who are tuning in, whether you're watching this one on YouTube, listening via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other leading podcast providers, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys listening to the show, tuning into all the socials, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. As I said, it's been a monumental last week or two across the NBA and the NBL for that matter. And you guys staying up to date with all those channels really means a lot to me. And I'm hoping you guys get a lot out of it too. Nevertheless, a lot of blathering there. Let's get into it. As I said, some winners and losers from the trade deadline period. I won't go into it too in-depthly, just as I'm sure if you guys are tuning into the show, you've no doubt read a lot of articles surrounding all the news from the trade deadline. But just thought I'd give my take on a couple of winners and losers. All right, let's start firstly with a winner in my eyes. Team I mentioned pretty extensively last week. My boys, the purple and gold, the LA Lakers, are a winner in my eyes. Now, as I said last week, they've got the new face of the franchise. They're set now for the next 5 to 10 years. Luka Doncic, it's something. If you guys stay up to date, as I said, if you stay up to date with the socials, it was probably about 6 months ago, or maybe a little bit less, near the start of this regular season. I put up a TikTok. It would have been on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, about Luka Doncic potentially joining the Lakers. Now, at the time, it was just kind of mere murmurings. There wasn't too much weight behind it. I kind of put it up as ever been the optimist. It was very wishful thinking. Not in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that a couple of months later we would have him in LA. Luka Doncic, a perennial MVP candidate. This season has been averaging 28, 8, and 8. And you would say that he's probably had a down year. Struggled a little bit with injuries, but when he's on the court, he is unstoppable. Now, give them a huge, huge plus for that. I won't delve too deep as I did last week. I do give the Lakers a little bit of a downgrade for the Mark Williams incident. Again, granted, they couldn't help that he failed the physical there after crossing over from the Hornets, but that one is a big loss. I thought he was going to be a perfect lob threat there for Luka and LeBron. His physicality, I thought was going to be perfect for the Lakers. Unfortunately, as I said, due to a failed physical that happened over the course of the last few days, that one has fallen through. Now, the big man stocks are pretty thin. We recently just acquired Alex Len, but then we've got Len, Jackson Hayes, Christian Coloco, Dorian Finney-Smith if you want to play small ball. We had to waive or drop Christian Wood, should I say. but it's nothing too inspiring. They're players that you want to fill a role. They're not going to be, the caliber of AD, that caliber of big men that we've had. But you're hoping in Reeves, LeBron, Rui, Luka, they've got more than enough to make up for it. That being said, I think they've done very, very well. They've secured Luka. They didn't have to give up too much. Now, outside of AD, they didn't have to give up Reeves. They didn't have to give up Rui. In this particular trade, they didn't have to give up Connect or too much draft capital. Now, I think that's a job well done for them. And across their first game versus the Jazz the other day, that duo of LeBron and Luka looked pretty dominant. Across 3 quarters, they'd put up 100 points, were able to coast pretty easy through that game. But it was just an ominous sign for the rest of the league to see what they can do as a duo. And, exciting stuff to say the least. So they're a winner for me. My first loser. The Phoenix Suns have to be a trade deadline loser for me. Now, they're a team that should be right there in title contention at the moment with the roster they have at their disposal. Yet, off the back of the trade deadline, they feel now even further away from being a legitimate contender. It seemed like for all money that either Bill, KD, or if not both, were going to be on the move. They looked primed and poised to land Jimmy Butler, but instead now he's on a rival team in the Golden State Warriors. That is a very disappointing trade deadline, to say the least. They've recently acquired Nick Richards, lost use of Nurkic. Richards hasn't looked that inspiring. It's a pretty disappointing little period for them that held so much hope. Words like toxic. Now, they've been floated around pretty heavily over the course of the last week or so in conjunction with the Suns. KD has since come out and disputed this. But regardless, it's not a very cheerful place to be at the moment there in Phoenix. And with how loaded the West is, they're really just battling to make the play-in at the moment. That roster that has Bill, KD, Booker, Tyus Jones, Nick Richards, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. There is so much firepower, especially on the offensive end. They should be a lot better than what they are. So it's very, very disappointing. They're a big loser for me. I thought it almost looked like a done deal that Butler was going to head there. Everyone was going to be happy. The Heat were going to get Bill. The Suns were going to get Butler there. And it's just not eventuated at all. And with how strong the rumors were that KD was going to potentially be on the move as well and being shopped around, it's, as I said, coming back to that word that's been floated around, toxic, it's made for a less than ideal environment you would imagine there in Phoenix. So they've got to be a loser for me. Moving ahead to my next winner. A big winner from the NBA trade deadline has to be De'Aaron Fox. Now, the Kings have somewhat been flailing this season. They don't really look like they're heading anywhere anytime fast. So Fox getting out is a massive win for him. And the fact that he's linking up with probably the most highly touted player in the league in Victor Wembanyama makes it that much sweeter. The Spurs now have one of the most dynamic and exciting duos in the league for the next couple of years. And not only that, currently it's so exciting, but they've enhanced their credibility as a destination team for other players within the league. And given the way that this deal was constructed to get Fox, they didn't have to give up any of their young talent. Stephen Castle, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, players like this, they've still got young talent on their roster if they want to go and acquire another star. They've still got plenty of flexibility and other moves to make should they want to. I think the Spurs are building really, really nicely at the moment. And for Fox, a change of scenery, we know what a dangerous player is. That pick and roll combo there of Fox and Wemby, that is going to be lights out. Very, very exciting there for the Spurs. I think it's a great move for Fox. And I, for one, can't wait to see what this duo can do. The rest of the league should be on notice. As I said, the Kings, they've struggled more than I thought they would this season. I thought with Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan, Monk, that's Keegan Murray. That's a pretty solid roster. They haven't exactly set the world on fire thus far. But making that trade, getting rid of Fox, bringing in Levine, we'll see how they go. But I think for Fox, this is a fantastic move. I think any player in the league at the moment would be delighted if they could link up with Wemby. And for Fox as well, still developing, still growing as a player, being able to learn and grow off Chris Paul, that insight and knowledge from him will be second to none as well. So if you're De'Aaron Fox, you are looking the goods at the moment. You are a huge winner off the back of the NBA trade deadline. Going ahead to my next loser, and again, it's not one I will delve into too deeply as I did speak about them last week pretty extensively, the Dallas Mavericks. Now, you gave up a franchise cornerstone in Luka Doncic for a considerably older center who's prone to injuries. Now, just days ago, it came out that AD is expected to miss multiple weeks with a left adductor strain. I think was that in game 2 for the Mavs there? It's just crazy stuff. They were already, in my eyes, a loser before this, just off the back of making the trade. But this just compounds it. Having the main guy that you got back, you've given up your franchise cornerstone. The guy you got back, meant to be one of the most dominant two-way players in the league, has gone down again already. You were worried about Luka's conditioning and health. AD, I love him. He was fantastic for the Lakers, helped bring us a chip, but that guy's made of glass as well. Now, I have big concerns. If I'm a Mavs fan, I'm just shaking my head in disbelief at how this has gone the last week or so for them. That being said, I think Max Christie for them is a great pickup. He's looked really good in his couple of games with the team. But that nowhere near makes up for the deal that's gone down. As I said, to see your guy, AD, go down already, a left adductor strain, out for a couple of weeks. Again, they're another team at the minute that's going to just be in a bit of a dogfight to even make the play-in. At the time of recording, they're currently sitting 8th, a 28-26 record. Yet they're only a game and a half up on, or 2 games, should I say, of Phoenix there in 11th. Worrying times. Your superstar player you got back's gone down. It's going to place a lot of onus on Clay, on Kyrie, on PJ Washington, on Gafford, on these guys to step up and ensure that they're still in, even playing contention. But as I said, this injury to AD this week just compounds what a loser they are off the back of this NBA trade deadline. My third winner goes to the NBA fans and 2K players out there. Now, as I said, it has just been a mind-boggling week from the league. Incredible. I frequently say that the NBA is almost just as exciting off-court as it is on. I love everything. I love the on-court action. I love watching as many games as possible. But almost equally, I love the drama, the storylines, the news that goes on off the court. And to me, this last week or two just proved that the NBA is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most captivating sports league in the world, across any sports. If you're a casual fan, it's been mind-boggling to say the least, with the amount of big-name players on the move. If you're a casual fan, you know Luka Doncic. You know Anthony Davis. You might know Brandon Ingram. There's been some big-name players on the move. You know Jimmy Butler. Big-name players on the move. If you're a hardcore nufty, like myself, it's been paradise sinking into all the details, all the articles, all the breakdowns of all these major and minor deals. Like, it's just been non-stop reading, really, for me. I've loved it. Every second of it. I can't get enough of it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are similar. And if you're a 2K fan out there, you are just salivating at the prospect of playing with some of these new lineups. Like, coming back to the Lakers, how fun is it going to be to play with LeBron and Luka? Wow. Going to Golden State, you've got Jimmy Butler hanging out with Steph. Unbelievable. Like, some of the teams now on 2K, wowee. What a hoot that's going to be. So I think, as I said, if you're an NBA fan, you're a 2K player, hardcore fan, just a casual fan, this week really has been a fantastic week to be involved in basketball. And, as I said, I think the last week or two has really shone the brightest light possible on the NBA. if you're Adam Silver, you would be absolutely delighted. Like we were coming into Super Bowl week essentially, and all talk was on the NBA. Like if you're Adam Silver, you are over the moon at how that's gone down. So the NBA is a big winner from the NBA trade deadline. And my final loser, guys, is the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I worry about the Bucks. They've got two of the best players in the league at their disposal there in Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yet they feel incredibly far away from being a title-winning team. It was essentially, it felt like the end of an era the other day when they moved on from Chris Middleton. They brought in Kyle Kuzma. Just crazy stuff. They struggled with Middleton. Absolutely struggled. Has not looked like himself. Had been reduced to a bench role that was supported, that move, by Giannis and Dame. They've brought in Kyle Kuzma. He's one of the least efficient and least effective rotation players in the NBA this season. It doesn't make me think they're going to be any better with him. Probably worse for that matter. I'm not sure what is going on there. They've then compounded that by trading Marjon Beauchamp for Kevin Porter Jr., who, aside from Kuzma, he might be the worst non-rookie rotation player in the league. Some of the shots, some of the decision-making, it is poor to say the least. Absolutely shown flashes, but from a consistency level and from a decision-making level, that is a huge loss. Huge loss there for the Bucks. Getting two of the least effective rotation players in the league. It does not bode well at the moment for the Bucks in the slightest, and it doesn't entice Giannis to stay at all. Now, given how murky things are currently looking for him at the moment with staying in Milwaukee, you've got to look at the Bucks and be thinking, where's the franchise going? I kind of felt this year with that aging core, Dame's not getting any older, younger, should I say. Middleton, prior to his departure, he wasn't getting any younger, nor was Lopez. This kind of felt like their last roll of the dice to be a genuine contender. They've taken a big backward step, I think. I just don't see where they go from here. They're not good enough to mix it with the Celtics unless Brown, Tatum, KP, they all go down with broken legs. Their path to a potential finals date is pretty bleak. So the Bucks are a big loser for me. They've gotten wildly more inefficient with the players they've brought in. Not really sure where they go from here, but I'll be keeping a very close eye, that's for sure. Guys, there you have it. There's a quick recap of some of the major winners and losers that I took away from the NBA trade deadline. As I said, it was a startling week or two period, to say the least. I'm kind of looking forward to the All-Star break, just being able to hit the reset, refresh button, and gear up for a massive push towards the postseason. It's going to be exciting, to say the least. Nevertheless, I will leave it at that, guys. Appreciate you all tuning in. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that wonderful stuff wherever you're tuning into the show. Your support really does mean a lot. Till next week, though, guys, enjoy the last couple of days of NBA action prior to All-Star weekend there in the Bay Area. Certainly looking forward to soaking in all the festivities of it all, as well as having a little break from NBA action. As I said before, we get into a big postseason push. Till next week, though, have a fantastic week, guys. Enjoy everything from on court as well as off court. It's sure to be a bumper week over there in San Francisco. Remember, guys, be good or be good at it. I'll speak to you soon.